place. Knuckle merchants and the bankers too, who must get up and learn those rules. Riverman and Crazy Chief, one says sun and one says sleep. Now the AM, the FM, the PM too, turning out that boogaloo. It gets you up and it gets you out, but how long can you keep it up? I said, give me Honda, give me Sony. It's so cheap and it's so phony. Hong Kong dollar, Indian cents, English pounds and the Benjamins. I said, New York! Don't stop and give it all you got. Say New York! Come on and get up. Don't stop and give it all you got. Say New York! Come on and get up. Don't stop and give it all you got. Say New York! Get up. You just don't stop and give it all you got. I rise to better my station. Take my baby to sophistication. See the ads? Well, isn't it nice? Better work hard cause I know the price. Now never mind that. It's time for the bus. And you'll get on cause you're one of us. The clocks go slow in the place of work. The minutes drag and the hours jerk.
Live from the Dog to Cat Studios on the Lower East Side of Manhattan, it's On the Horn with Andrew Einhorn. Woo! Look, I got some flowers for the occasion. Remember every time Trump would tell a lie, the siren went off? Bye-bye, Orange Man. Hey, everybody. Woo! I feel really good. We're going to get 65 American degrees in New York tomorrow. We're all getting our vaccines. We are in a point in life where optimism has turned. I don't know if I'm supposed to say anything, but I kind of got my first shot. What? Yeah, whatever. I'm not bragging. I'm just saying I managed to do it. So I'm in between 1 and 2. No pun intended. So I just want to chat for a second about where we are. This is my 30th show. It felt really good to hit a milestone. I like the number 3, and I just felt like this was a point where I could just take a little bit of a break. I don't know. I was thinking I could just stop altogether. I mean, I fucking did it. I conquered it. I started from nothing. I was walking 20 miles in the snow to get here. No, but seriously, it was a big learning curve, and I'm still learning, but I sort of conquered that, got in the flow of how to get guests, and then do these pre-recorded segments, and I love it, and I've got a lot of loyal fans, so I want to say thank you to everyone out there. Feel free to chat tonight. Let me go to the comments right off the bat. It's just me. At one point, I thought I'm going to get some interns here, some helpers, some women, something to interact with, and it just hasn't worked out. Which is not to say it's not going to. And what I thought is I might just meet people online with never seen them before and just like having discussions with some of the young kids. You know, the 20-year-olds, generation, let us something, I don't know. But it feels good. I just have other things in life. I'm actually going to be doing a little extra work on a Marvelous Mrs. Maisel show. I am now going to be part of a Taschen compilation book, so I need to get photos together. I'm trying to get a website up. I'm going to do an OnlyFans page. So I need to move in different directions, but I'm going to miss my interviews. So I think I'll be back. But the drama of flaky people and getting guests has been a little more difficult than I wanted. But speaking of guests, and live from San Miguel, Mexico, you heard me, that's a city near Mexico City, is my guest for tonight, who is not smiling when I expect it. And there he is, Mr. Tomas Juáquín. You got me? You can hear, Tomas? It's better, yeah. It's better.
What's up, my man? Hey. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm with you, bro.
Good, good.
Yeah,
what's behind you? I like that.
I can hear you, but I can't see you. I'm good. I'm excited to be on the show. You know.
Wait, you can't see me? But I want you to be able to see me. Can you see me? Are you looking at your... I don't get it. You should be able to see me.
I can't see you. All I can see is your hand. It's just stuck there.
Okay. I look great. I don't know what else to say. Now, anything different?
No.
Okay. Well,
yeah,
listen.
You're wearing a nice shirt, but it's just not moving.
Okay. It could be your connection. Listen, just don't worry about it. We look great. It's good to have you, so fuck it. We'll just see what happens, but trust my broadcasting capabilities. So I feel great that you're like the temporary last show, number 30. And he's stuck. No, you're back.
It's always, sometimes it's a great pleasure to be last. Am I-
Yeah, I got you.
I'm
I have a
here.
feeling. All right. So you are a special human being. I only met you, what,
It
5,
should be
10
fun.
years ago? Still there? Well,
Yeah, it's
internet
about right.
connection.
Yeah, let me move my computer, see if the connection is
Okay.
better.
All right, sure. We'll take a time out. I'll just say to my fans, feel
One
free to
sec
chat.
here.
Hey,
See what
Nicolette,
we can do.
Kelsey. Yeah,
Why not?
we know. I was thinking of wearing a wig tonight, but
How's that?
it's good as long as our connection
that?
is okay. Yeah, it's good. It's good. Yeah. Can you still hear me?
Is that better?
Yeah, it's perfect.
I
Can you
can
hear
hear
me?
you.
All right, you can't see me though.
Oh, wow, nice. I still can't see you, but
All right, it's all right. Fuck it. So listen, I'm going to set the stage. So tonight, what I'm going to do, as I
turn off your
have,
camera back on or something.
I don't know what to say. It's on. I mean, we're broadcasting live to the world, and there's a 2-shot. We can see both of us. So just trust that it looks good. I have what I'm going to do tonight. I've got a
If
lot
you can
of
see us,
different.
more cool.
Yeah. I've got 5 questions that I asked in the park related to you. I want to talk. I got some questions from somebody that we both know that said,
Nice.
ask a few things. And then I want to do like a rapid fire San Miguel photo montage where it was my pictures back in, I think, 2015. So it's going to be like, you get 3 seconds to tell what each photo is. But first, let's talk about your background, because my first question has to do with locations around the world. Got a lot of notes here tonight, but you've lived in a lot of different places. Just give me a quick summary of where you've lived around the world.
Well, a few different places. I was born in Chile, in the south of Chile. I was actually born on a cattle ranch. And so those are my first memories of riding horses when I was 2 years old. That was the first things that I did. And I think that has a lot to do with kind of who I am and my personality. And yeah, I was born to a Chilean mother and a U.S. father. And interesting times in Chile during the dictatorship. I was born, so I kind of grew up in that thing, which was crazy. But Chile is so beautiful and amazing.
Wait, that's Pinochet? He was still in power when you were there or growing up?
I was born in 74. He came in 73. So it was right around the same period. It was just crazy, crazy times in Chile.
Yeah.
My father was put in charge of a cattle ranch in the south. And he was coming from the States, from Cincinnati, Ohio. Had no idea of cattle ranching. But my grandfather had many cattle ranches in that time around Chile, and he decided to send them down to the south to take care of one of them. They met in San Francisco, Summer of Love. They fell in love the Summer of Love, were hanging out in Haight-Ashbury, and hanging out with the Grateful Dead and people like that. And then they headed down to Chile. And yeah, it's crazy. And that's where they ended up for a while. And that's where me and my brother were born. And it was just nuts. It was crazy times, But my father was protecting the ranch from the communists, and then he was protecting it from the fascists. And it's just crazy. But it was a beautiful, beautiful place, and just connecting with nature, and just beautiful. And so after that, there was a lot of turmoil, and some years after, when I was about 7 or 8, they decided to go back to the States, and lived in Guatemala for a little bit, for stints. Miami a little bit. My father from Cincinnati, like I said, so that's where I went to school. Ended up going to school in Cincinnati. And went to school for artistic talented people called School for Creative and Performing Arts. And so I got a lot of my artistic education there. And as much as I could, as rebellious as I was.
I thought I knew you, Tomas. I thought I knew you. I really did. But
Well, everybody does.
I did not know some of those. And I'm guessing that there's more underneath the covers, no pun intended. Haight-Ashbury, Summer of Love. What? All right.
Yeah.
That's
my
awesome.
dad was like in charge of he was the guy to go to get out of the draft kind of thing.
Wow.
And
I
so
wonder
they were in it.
if your father, I don't know if he's still around, but knows, I have a friend, I had friends from Guatemala that I met in high school. They had to leave Guatemala because it was crazy turmoil. The dad was the president of Rayovac batteries in all of South America, but things were getting like crazy, and it's like within weeks, get out of there. So they moved to Philadelphia, and he was of Italian descent, but I don't know. So
Well,
I
my
found
father,
it.
yeah,
So no, go ahead.
he's not around anymore. My father's not around anymore. He passed a few years ago, well, maybe 5, 6, 7 years ago. And
Sorry.
you know, it's part of life, you know. It's free.
Yeah, of course. It's just so
Life and
interesting,
death.
all the different places that you've lived. So that was a natural first question. So I'm going to launch into a video. This is my typical On the Horn. I went to Washington Square Park 2 weeks
Nice.
ago. And so hang on. This makes me a fan favorite. You ready? You're sitting down?
All right, let's see it. Let's see it.
Okay.
On the Horn in the park.
On the Horn in the Park, Washington Square Park. It is March 1st, 2021. This might be my last show. I know. What are you going to do? My guest today is Tomas Juáquín. He's currently residing in San Miguel, Mexico. He's a healer, a shaman, a poet, an environmentalist, and a playboy.
Sorry.
So my questions will revolve around those things. I'm also going to ask about ayahuasca. What? And how do we make the world a better place? Seems like a fitting question
Oh my
to
God.
our giant masterpiece. Thanks for
That's a
dropping
lot
by.
to live
Thanks
up
for
to.
being in my movie.
All right.
So if you had your choice, would you rather live in Mexico, Guatemala, Chile, or Cincinnati?
Probably Cincinnati, Ohio.
WKRP in Cincinnati.
What about you?
I'm putting Cincinnati at the bottom of the list.
I was born in Cincinnati.
That's out.
I'm going to say no to Cincinnati. Mexico.
All right.
Guatemala.
Maybe Guatemala.
I'll try Guatemala. Guatemala, I don't know, maybe Mexico? Guatemala, maybe political reasons not so great?
Guatemala might be.
Oh, I think Mexico. The food.
Tulum or Cancun?
Yeah, I'd rather live in Mexico. Yeah, the food is. I like the culture.
I'm gonna say Mexico. I've always been curious to go.
I'm curious about Mexico, I think.
Good. Okay, Cincinnati, 1 out of 3.
Wait, can you sit?
1 out of 3, man.
I'm going to say Chile because I did a project in Chile when I was in 8th grade and they have the world's largest pool in Chile.
I would rather live in Cincinnati.
Okay.
What about you?
I think I'd rather live in Guatemala because I've been there once and I have friends there. It's a beautiful country, Mayan ruins, but Tikal is this lake and there's like a hippie town around it. That's where I would go. He's on the move again. Okay. I realized I made a faux pas. I was talking about Atitlan, the lake where you were. Are you trying a different? Oh, okay. Just be sure if you have Facebook on that
That's
volume's
right.
low. Oh, okay. So you were recently in Guatemala, right? You visiting your brother, I hear?
Yeah, it's all low.
Still there?
Well, my mother's living there full time. My brother's living there part time now. They both bought property, and I'm still here. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Gotcha.
Still here, my man. Still rock and
What-
rolling.
What's Guatemala like these days? Because I was there once, but it
Yeah.
was 20 years ago.
Yeah, they're living down there now. So Guatemala is amazing. I love Guatemala. Ever since my mother started living there, maybe 2 or 3 years ago now, started going down there. Back, I lived there just a short stint when I was a kid, so I didn't remember much. But it's incredible. I really, really love it. It's really kind of stepping away from anything mainstream and what's going on in the world a little bit, and going into this beautiful place on this amazing lake. It's surrounded by volcanoes. The Mayan culture, which is hugely fascinating to me, is very predominant. Those people are amazing. They're just fascinating people, and they still wear their traditional dress and live a lot in their traditional ways. And just a beautiful, amazing people. I love it. San Marcos, where my family lives, is an interesting kind of a hippie conclave. A lot of crazies, a lot of people doing a lot of spiritual searching. a lot of workshops and things like that. The chocolate cacao culture, a lot of cacao ceremonies, a lot of ceremony for everything they do. Ceremony. Sometimes a little hard to adjust to on that level, but it's in general, it's just really, really beautiful and amazing people. And so, yeah, I love it. I'm going back in a couple weeks.
Let me ask you something. Does it seem like there is a delay? I'm going to say 3, 2, 1 now. You tell me when you hear me.
I heard it when you said it.
Oh, okay. Okay. Looked like we were.
Yeah.
Well, that's fascinating. That's great. I know you were working. I'm really happy to hear that because I was there. It was so long ago. I imagine there's a difference between Guatemala City and Chichicastenango and Atitlan and Tikal and places like that. So, but the lake, right, has little. You said your mom or brother are in that area, which is going to be different than other parts of Guatemala.
Yeah. Sadly, Guatemala definitely has its. Has its variety and such. That's a place where a lot of people go. There's like all these little towns around the lake, and every town has its vibe. So you have the hippie town, you have the indigenous town, you have the fabrics town, you have the party town, you have this and that, and you actually get around the lake on boats instead of taking cabs and stuff. You hop in a boat and get to the next town or whatever. And it's definitely good times. Wonderful. Yeah, love it. Wow. Love it.
So I imagine there must be people from around the world. You got to have Germans and Australians and Israelis, right? I imagine, especially in the part.
Huge variety of people. Yeah, from all over the world. Very interesting. A lot of characters. A lot of people are like, "What's up with this dude?" A lot of them look at me like that. So yeah, we have a good relationship.
I gotta go back. I want to visit you in Guatemala and your mother, your Chilean art connoisseur mom, and see your brother.
Yeah, it's great. I'm doing a projection mapping project for a place called Eagle's Nest, which is an aesthetic dance center on the lake. It's very interesting. It's like high up on the hill. It's this beautiful structure, this big wood platform that overlooks the whole lake. It's beautiful, and they're very well known around the world for their aesthetic dance. And they've asked me to come in and help them set up their projection mapping system, which is going to be fantastic. I can't wait. Super excited.
God.
So
sounds like Burning Man a little. I imagine long vistas and lasers. I don't know what a projection mapping system is, but it sounds nice.
Projection mapping is when you set up a projector, for example, on a building. This is something that a lot of people have seen, where you project to a building. You can make it look like it's falling apart or it's coming back together. You can basically project anything you want on it using 3D technology. So
gotcha. Yeah. I think I've seen that with Spencer in different places around the world on buildings in Vienna, Austria and stuff. It sounds so good.
I'm sure. I'd love to see Spencer projected. Actually, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, what a great idea. I have to talk to Spencer about that. Spencer, if we're watching, I love you, man.
He's watching, I'm sure, and he'll... I
miss you so much, brother.
So my next question revolves around a totem pole. I'm not sure why, but when we were talking and taking notes, you had been, what is it? Why did I write this down? And what correlates you to a totem pole?
Well, maybe you got a totem fetish. I don't know.
I do.
But maybe. A friend of mine here in San Miguel, just an amazing guy, and he's done great festival stuff around the world, just fantastic. And he's building a little complex down here. And he's having me create a sculpture for him outside his house. He actually put this big electric post outside his home, and he found it so ugly, because he was like the last house on the street, and it's like, I gotta put up my electric thing. And he's very, very specific, very kind of, detail oriented. So it's like, I can't keep looking at that thing. I need to cover it with something. Help me out, Tomas. I said, okay. And I thought about what to make for him, and I thought about this totem pole that covers everything.
Yeah.
And it's like 10 meters high, whatever it is, 30 feet high, and inspired with the Mayans. So it's all this kind of full of these animals and elements and symbols that represent the different signs of the Mayan calendar. So just honoring a lot of the Mesoamerican, that has a lot to do with the Aztec calendar also. That's more of this region. And Otomi is what's specific to this region here in San Miguel de Allende. Yeah. And we're all kind of connected in some way. So very inspired in the Mesoamerican culture, creating this big thing that has a windmill on top that actually creates energy. So it's art that creates energy. The spirits, the wind that go through this windmill and create actual energy that they can use in their home. So,
I feel like I could probably do a 3-hour show with you, because all these things, every time you say something, I remember. I mean, even when you were here years ago, you were showing me the drawings of the Ferris wheel, which I wasn't supposed to talk about, but it feels like art and technology and the environment all sort of come together in your world, and maybe music and dance and theater too. It's like all connected. Early on, when I was talking about people that I was getting as guests, they were like, there was connectivity. It's a common word. So you must be well connected. All right, I don't want to go into that. I'm just saying we'll do a 3-hour show with them another time.
Yeah, but that's my main thing. That's my main thing. It's just, my life is dedicated to the arts. It's dedicated to being of service of that. I feel like an artist should consider himself a type of medicine man. I don't want to use the word shaman too much because I think it's overused. But I think the artist should think of it not just as an entertainer, someone who does things for fun because he feels like he want to express himself, but also as a service, something that can create open doors of perception that can help people understand, how to navigate through this life, just to really elevate the state of consciousness in the world, and hopefully create a lot of content that's very deep, that's very powerful, and that's at the same time beautiful.
Well said.
That's my jam.
I'm supposed to do a quick hi and shout outs. Nicolette Hoffman. Carol, nice to see you. She says we're both handsome. Yum. Astra, let's go. You'll have to meet my friend Astra Schwartz one day. She's Astra Dorf. She's a great human being. She's helped me a lot. Ronald Citizen. Ronald, you're now a citizen? Ask him about his necklace. All right, we'll get to that later. He is the king. He inspired me to every time. Yeah, what do you got?
There it is. It's this hand carved piece. I use it for a lot of ceremonial work, really, but I've been wearing it a lot lately, just around. It's a gift from my mother and my sister in Guatemala. That's hand carved in Bali, and a beautiful crystal from Nepal. And it's just a very powerful thing. It's just, I wear and it's vibrating all the time. And so it just helps me to be in my higher self and to connect, especially when I'm doing spiritual work or things of that nature.
You've definitely influenced me on the jewelry things, because I was never one. I was like, oh, cute little crystals maybe, but small. And you just come out whenever I see you, it's something big, and it's, it's a statement piece. I don't know what you call it, but it's like, yeah, fuck you, here I am. Here's my shit.
That's right. The power, baby, power right there. Yeah.
All right. So hi, Astra, and hi, Kristen, and hi, Spencer. Kristen, another friend of ours.
Hey, baby, I love you so much. Miss you. The best, amazing woman.
He is an amazing woman. She's going to be my next guest, right, Chrissy? Right? 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever it is. You are next. I just like the word totem pole just seemed kind of funny to me. And I was like, I should ask people if they know what it is. That's it. It's pure and simple. What the fuck is a totem pole? So that's where we're going.
I'm not even supposed to talk about that yet, but it came out. And so now we're talking about it because it's still kind of in the works.
Do you know what a totem pole is?
A totem pole? Isn't that what we see on the westerns once in a while? The Indians build a totem pole?
Some wooden pole carved, probably hand carved.
It's got a bunch of heads stacked up on top of each other.
Animals, maybe a person's face.
I think it's different. But
Yep.
I've seen ones where there are different faces on them.
It's like a bunch of different head-looking figures on top of one another.
It's like,
Yeah, the hierarchy.
symbols on one on top of the other.
I think it's supposed to assert dominance and show where your land is.
But it's definitely an art piece, and I guess it would kind of, it's whatever the artist would, I guess, want it to be.
There's also the totem pole of penises, that one island of penises. Have you seen that? You would like that place.
I would. Where's that? Do you know what a totem pole is?
No.
I think it's in the Pacific East Asian, blah, blah, minor outlying islands of Guam.
Do you know what a totem pole is?
No, I don't know what that is.
Okay.
No idea.
I've heard it before, but I can't.
There are many homages to phalluses.
It's about 80 pounds.
There are carved phalluses, there's totem phalluses, there's a phallus house.
It's about 80 pounds.
They sell phallus candy bars.
Who doesn't know what a totem pole is? It's an Indian thing. It's a long piece of wood with carvings on it, and it's something spiritual. I don't know the meanings, but it's a beautiful thing, and I used to see it in western Pennsylvania. Oh, yeah. So, whoops. Got to go back to camera one. So there we have a totem pole. Yeah, something we got to say a lot as a kid. I think I'm going to jump just for fun to our friend's question. We're going to get a
That's
little
hilarious how little people know.
Well, but at least, I mean, I feel like anybody over 30 had a general idea. It's not like we get educated in school to the totem pole. It's maybe if we have a class trip to the country that, you know, you get to see it. But I guess you get to see them more in your Chile, Argentina, Guatemala, Mexico.
Well, that's interesting because this is the kind of culture that I feel like should be taught. You know.
That one guy said it had something to do with land or
come
power.
From the northwestern, like northwest Canada. Sorry.
Oh wow. Okay. Like a Saskatchewan or British
He
Columbia.
said something about some Asian stuff. It's really it's a lot of the indigenous cultures work a lot with the spirits. Yeah,
all right, well,
it's in the northwest actually.
Yeah. I looked that up in the
Northwest
definition.
Canada, and it's the protecting spirits, you know.
Well, on the subject of spirits, one thing that you've seen more progressive than I is something called drugs. We were just talking about, because I think you were the first person to say that you licked a toad and found the key to life or something, like it all came, which sounds a little spiritual, but you're grounded and spiritual at the same time. So I wanted to talk about just some of those different things that you've done and the effect and why, especially now that we know you as a person and your art. Like and there was another term, I don't know if I had written down, you said, I don't remember what it was, but tell me about different things. Ayahuasca, mushrooms, peyote, and then there was one more that was like 2 or 3 words.
You know, I did not lick a toad, so I did smoke the extract.
This whole show is based around licking toads. Damn it!
Toad. And
sorry, go ahead. Yep.
Oh, are you serious?
No.
Oh my God! So licking toads was a thing that came out of Florida, like in the 80s or 90s. I don't know. But people were licking toads, and it's probably kind of similar in the sense. This is from a toad that comes from the Sonoran Desert, so it's like northern Mexico, part of Texas, California, that area. And it's a type of DMT. It's called DMT MEO05. It's a very, very powerful substance that you don't really, do in a recreational setting or anything like that. It's very, very powerful when you really feel like you need to go into something deep in your life. And it's just extremely powerful. It actually came to me when I was doing, I think it was the first Calaca Festival, which is a Day of the Dead festival that we founded here in San Miguel. And I was in the middle of production. It was the first festival. We were insane. It just came to me, and they were like, "Now is the moment. You want to do it?" And I'm like, "Sure." And it changed everything. I mean, it's really, it's very incredibly powerful. It takes you to this really deep place. You toke it in, and then you just like, and you go into this incredible space, and where you have, for me, it was I saw all of my relations. I feel like it was all of my relations of my whole life that I had been having, were present, and understanding everything in a form that was immediate and just like, thank you, I forgive you, forgive me, but just healing all these things in this beautiful voyage. And going through that, you always there's a confrontation with death, which is a theme that is very reoccurring in my artistic activities and spiritual activities. And there's a moment where you could like go or not, like, stay, and you have to. If you resist, you just go into these terrible places. So I just went in and chanting like love. At this point, I'm out of my body completely, and I'm just understanding like everything on this cosmic level. And all of a sudden, I like pulled out from Mexico, and I'm floating in the cosmos, and I'm looking down on Mexico, and I see this vortex of unity, of understanding, of healing of the planet, of making everything come together in a way that works for everyone. In detail, it was incredible. Like all the details, all the participants, and it was this incredible vortex that I'm looking at from outer space. It was insane. And so along those lines, but I think it's a very powerful thing, and that really in modern culture, we have a relationship to drugs, and we don't have a great understanding of what it is to use the natural world as medicine through people who are wise in these levels and through a deeply respectful and ceremonial way. And when you do that, you have initiations in your life that open up huge things, huge levels of understanding. I think since a lot of this indigenous culture that has been kind of pushed down for many years is starting to come back up, because you can't really kill it because it's so powerful. And you feel that very strongly in places like Mexico and Guatemala and other places of the sort, you know. And it's just expanding on a world level. A lot of people using these kind of mediums as initiations. It's not just your relationship with these power psychotropics, but it starts to take over your life in general. Everything that you consume, you start understanding how it affects your spirit, how it affects your body, you know, and in a very sacred way and very respectful way. So it's got really nothing to do with drugs on that level. And it has a lot more to do with self-discovery, with self-empowerment, with community, with bringing back a lot of this culture that has been kind of pushed down for so many years by colonialism, basically. Yeah.
I'm exhausted after that answer. That was absolutely fantastic.
I got a lot to say, bro. I got to tell you.
No, that's really nice, because we all have preconceived notions of what different drugs do. Everybody, if they don't know anything about it. But your thing about relationships, was that the interesting part? I always thought, like, I'm going to go in, if I take LSD or peyote, I'll be like, what am I here on this planet? What am I meant to do? But not, hey, how's the relationship with my friends, my mother, all different things, and your connection to that. And I guess you said what the nice thing is that it carries you forward. That I guess it's almost like if my friend Stephen Block is watching the Hoffman Institute. It your relationships with people, where you come from, where you're going, and I guess how to go forward in life based on what you learned from taking these substances.
Yeah. So it's a total different mindset of what we understand, especially in American and Western culture, which is, you know, we have all these people that are drug addicts that are using it as an escape mechanism, avoidance, self-destructiveness, and that's got nothing to do with really, what the purpose is. And that is because a lot of has been forgotten. A lot of these traditions, a lot of these things have been, people tried to bury them. It's the same thing that kind of happened with marijuana. Now it's starting to come back, and people are like saying, oh my God, it's healing. Oh, it works for all this stuff. It's actually really good for you on most levels if you're not abusive, you know? And so, yeah, it's just quite interesting for me.
What should I, Andrew Einhorn on the Horn, what do you recommend? Knowing me, which of those different hallucinogenics should I end up taking? What should I try? What should I do?
Well, what they say a lot is those things tend to find you a little bit.
Okay.
Especially if you're going into the unknown. I mean, maybe you have experiences with, some of the more well-known psychedelics. But a lot of these more powerful things that come from the jungle and other places, it'll find you. You don't really have to look that hard. And it's very important in that level, because a lot of people, there's a lot of what they call false prophets. Yeah. So there's a lot of pseudo shamans now who are like filling you up with this stuff and like making you pay all this money, and for these kind of false things, false idols. So it's really, you have to really come to observe and.
Okay. Well, it'll find me. But Spencer, let's go to Chile or Brazil or Guatemala or Mexico, because I want to.
I found you, brother. I found you.
Nicolette, wait, Kelsey says, are you wearing a Guayabera Cuban? Is that Cuban shirt? Or it's the material, Guayabera?
It's not a Cuban shirt, but it's close enough. It's definitely in the Latino vibe, for sure.
Well said.
Mexican.
Yeah. Well, you're so well spoken. That art high school in Cincinnati did you well, Mr.
Oh, well, that was just the beginning, my man. That was just the beginning. The true voyage came after, for sure. Or maybe before, I don't know. It's all the whole voyage.
Going right into it. There we go. Let's see what the.
Have you ever done ayahuasca? What's with ayahuasca? That's hilarious.
Ayahuasca, peyote, mushrooms, or other.
Wait, say that again. Have I ever done what? Ayahuasca?
Ayahuasca, yeah. But they look like ayahuasca here.
I've done nothing besides, pot for most of my life, and then
coke here and there and mushrooms here and there. So that's it. Nothing beyond
Which my
that.
friend has.
Oh wait.
Your friend has.
Oh, have you ever done ayahuasca, peyote, mushrooms, or other psychedelic drugs? Which my friend has.
Your friend has done that?
All of them.
Well, they say at a certain point in time they were not illegal. So I'm not going to tell you I did them, but I'm not going to tell you I did not.
Ask him. I'm his father. I'm supposed to admit that?
Have you ever taken ayahuasca, peyote, mushrooms, or other psychedelic drugs?
I have not.
No. Sorry. No. No, that's way too far-fetched for me.
No.
yet.
No. Yeah, not yet.
Nope, I have not.
Are you just saying that because you're on duty?
Both. Just no.
Oh no, I'm such a good kid. I can do it. I'm already a crackhead. Wait, what was the question again?
Have you ever taken ayahuasca, peyote, mushrooms, and any other psychedelic drugs?
Yeah, I took acid
my
too
God.
much, but I took mushrooms for the first time just this past Ash Wednesday.
On Rosh Hashanah, I tried some shroom tea. It's very holy.
Mushrooms, LSD, if ecstasy counts as one.
It was too hard, and it just really changed my life.
Ayahuasca, toad licking, peyote, haven't tried them.
But not peyote. No, I hang with the Indians. Done some mushrooms.
We got naked and
Yeah.
we just were massaging each other, and it was just a nice calming and a lot of crying. I was crying the whole time.
Are you sure this is mushrooms and not LSD or something?
No, it was so mushrooms.
Yikes.
I've only done mushrooms, and it was about 10 times, but I would like to do LSD because everybody I'd like to lick the basically, I'd like to do every drug that's out there. But at 56, I'm a little apprehensive. But if you got some, you got some.
I gotta end with me. It's always fun, It's my show. What the fuck? I'm putting myself at the end. It does make me, as I said, as you get
that's
older,
hilarious.
it gets me a little nervous. Do I do these things? I don't know
That's
what's
right.
gonna happen. Everybody's like, "Don't worry, you'll be fine." But I don't know. There's a little bit of apprehension. That said, Timothy Leary did it. All right, since we're on, now we're gonna go to our friend. Sorry, go ahead.
Some people are not fine. It's definitely something you have to be very.
I mean, mushrooms were something I did about 10 times.
You definitely have to be very careful with the kind of thing. It's not something to be taken lightly. I feel like I've seen some people have some.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to say I've done mushrooms about 10 times, and 7 of them were great, and 3 weren't bad trips, but it was I'd rather not be on this. I also found when I was coming off it, it was almost a high. When you go from this kind of altered state back to reality, you feel wow, I'm here, I'm in it, I'm in the zone. And I remember doing that out in Lake Powell, Arizona. It was really fun coming back. And then my friend turned to me as his dog was wagging his tail trying to play fetch with a football. He said, Andrew, when it all comes down to it,
a lot of people.
Lexi just wants to fetch. Sorry, that was my thought. Go ahead. I think there is a delay. We come and go. There's a little.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a lot of people. A lot of people have a lot of things that they're carrying inside, and since it's a lot of. Yeah, there's a moment. There's a moment for sure.
So evidently, something happened where you were hitting on.
I'll wait for you for a second.
All right. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
It's weird. Yeah, I can hear you fine. It's just our delay. It seems like the delay comes and goes. Damn you, internet! You're supposed to be perfect in every way. Evidently, once there was something where you were at a party or you were hitting on Kate Moss and Johnny Knoxville came in. There was some sort of altercation. Can you shed light upon this?
Are you serious? That's hilarious. I can't believe that. That's when I was living. I never told this story publicly. Yeah, I was living in New York, in Soho. And I was walking home. For some reason, I picked up a bouquet of flowers. And I don't know, for somebody, for myself, I love flowers. I have hundreds of them hanging out in my house right now. That's a different story that we can talk about later. But honoring women. But I was walking home, half drunk, and I had a few drinks. And then there's this place used to exist in New York, one of the last dive bars in Soho, called Milady's. Somebody's standing outside and they say, Tomas, what's going on? Why don't you come in for a game of pool? And I'm like, okay, cool. And I walk in, and there's this table of ladies, beautiful ladies, and they're like, "Oh my God, I love your flowers. It's so beautiful. Can I smell them?" And I said, "Sure." So I come up, they smell my flowers, we get a conversation going. It's cool. The bar is happening. I walk over towards the pool table. Some other girl's like, "Hey, what's up with your flowers? I love your flowers." And I'm like, "Here we go. You want to smell my flowers?" So everybody's smelling my flowers around the bar. It's like my shtick, you know. And finally, I look at the bar, like the actual bar, and there's this beautiful blonde woman sitting there, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, this is me. This is it." So I walk up. And I walk up to her and I say, "Hey, you want to smell my flowers?" And she says, "Oh, yes, of course." And she starts smelling them. She starts talking to me. She has like a British accent. I don't know. You know, looking at her, she looks familiar. We're like starting a conversation. It was amazing. I feel like we're connecting. I look at her legs and I'm like, "Wow, she's got like really skinny legs. She must be a model." And all of a sudden I look up and I say to myself, "Well, that's Kate Moss." I'm like, "Cool." So we keep talking. And then the guy next to me, sitting next to me, says, "Oh, your fucking flowers. What about your fucking flowers? I'll kick your ass." I'm like, "Well, whatever, dude." And after he says that, he tackles me, literally throws himself on me. I go flying back with flowers in one hand, the beer out of the other. And I go on my back and just automatically, like my immediate reaction was get up and I chuck the bottle at the guy and it like bounces off his head, explodes, you know? And the bar starts going crazy, and I was like by the door, so they're pushing me out, and I'm just like yelling, "I don't care about anything else." I'm like, "Give me back my flowers! I just want my flowers." It was hilarious. The guy from the ladies knew me. He's like, "Tomas, just chill out for a minute. You know, I'll let you back in later. You know, take it easy." You know. And then I saw like Kate Moss and the other guy like sneaking out, you know, the side or whatever. And then it was like page 6, like supposedly I was like some like college groupie guy trying to get something from Kate Moss or something. And the guy who tackled me was Johnny Knoxville. So, ironically, yeah, go figure. So, yeah, good times. Good times in New York. Really good time in New York. Spent a good 6-7 years there. I love New York always.
Ironically, in our background, Johnny, come here. We have Johnny Knoxville. Get the fuck in here.
Why not?
I'm just kidding. I was pretending Johnny Knoxville was here. Do you got a favorite kind of hot sauce?
What? Oh, okay.
No.
Nice.
He's not here. Question number 2, do you have a favorite hot sauce?
Hot sauce. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah. I do have a favorite hot sauce.
Dime?
Do you want to hear it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's made from chile de árbol. It's olive oil with chile de árbol, a little bit of sesame seeds, and some garlic. And that is the best hot sauce ever. And it's super spicy. It's just a couple drops, and you're good to go. It's amazing. Love hot sauce in general. Pico de gallo, everything in Mexico is heaven.
It's usually green down there in Mexico. I remember, is that the pico de gallo, the green one?
No.
We might have.
No, that's just called green sauce, salsa verde, which is also delicious. Yeah, that's made with chile güero, and I don't know, they put a lot of different things in there.
I know among many things we've talked about that you also
You're with me? They got hot sauce, they got the red sauce, they got, these other.
We're still on the delay. Well,
okay, we're good. I think we're back.
Okay, we're back. You, among everything, the dancer, there's also acting. So my friend ST said, see if you can get like a short monologue. Can Tomas do something? Anything you have memorized that you can give us? Not Shakespeare per se.
Put me on the spot, huh?
I know. Maybe it could be in Spanish. That would be fun. La canduro macizo es muy caliente. Mi amiga.
I did this one play that was called Sexo Oral. And I did it with my friend Tuti, who was supposed to be on the show that couldn't make it because she told me today she had just read the message. I don't know. But very talented woman,
you
Tuti. I love
just
you.
read the message, Tuti. Isn't that convenient? After all we've been through, I flew to San Miguel just to do a shoot with you. We had a beautiful 3 hours together, but son, you can't do the show for my 30-mile. Okay, anyway, Gary, go ahead. Guilt, Jewish guilt. That's the best I can do.
So, yeah, it was a very interesting piece where it was called as micro theater. Micro theater is like a small theater format, which each room has a different theater piece going on. 15 people per room, 15 minutes per piece. And we had this piece called Sex Oral, or Oral Sex. And I did it both in English and in Spanish. You would do maybe, I think I did 6 or 12 functions a night, presentations a night. It was ridiculous, exhausting. And it basically took place in, it was a porn shoot. Tuti was this innocent little actress who was trying out for this movie. And so we'd have people come in and be like, okay, you guys are part of the set or whatever. And somebody would come in, like we had a bunch of like sex toys and we'd hand them to people, like the disgusting thing, like put in their hand. We wouldn't open the doors between functions, so all the stench and everything would kind of sit in there.
Yeah.
And you walk in, there's a cute little girl, and she's sitting on the edge of her bed and she's really nervous. And and then they're like, okay, great, everything's set up. Like you're the camera guy, you're the assistant, people from the audience. And now with you guys, our star is going to come in and do this piece of Roof Rivers, And I come in and I'm like half naked and I'm wearing like this tiny little, underwear, like combat boots. And I'm like this sex animal, And and they're like, great. And I sit in the edge of the bed on like this, And the director's like, okay, action. And I started like basically groping on the girl. And she's getting really nervous. She's like, no. The guy's like, cut. This isn't working. Do it again. What's wrong with this girl? And he says like, do you know any lines from movies or whatever? Like say your lines from movies and stuff. And so she starts trying to say things like that. 10 things I hate about you, some other movies like that. And I'm just like going all over her. The audience is super uncomfortable. When I think I grinded on half the audience on my way in. People are like literally falling out of their chairs and ridiculous. And at some point, the girl starts to get it and it starts to come back around. She starts getting very empowered and she gets on top of me and she basically has this amazing orgasm on top of me. And as she's having that, my whole character disarmed and my whole macho beast animal self starts to fall apart and I start crying. I'm like this and she's like humping me, and the whole thing just turns around. And when it's done, she's super empowered and she's really happy. And I'm basically on the floor like, no, And I come up to the audience at the end of the scene and I'm like, my whole life, nobody ever paid any attention to me. They just want me for my cock. And the whole audience goes, oh, and the girl grabs me and holds me and she says, oh, you poor thing. That's how the show went, basically. Maybe a very short monologue, but a very powerful moment for that moment.
I'm just glad I had a happy ending, no pun intended, because my mom likes
definitely one of the more memorable ones for sure.
Yeah. All right, I was hoping for something in Spanish with a little like. Sorry.
It was actually very powerful, very disturbing at first.
Yeah. I think I remember hearing about that. I was here, and I think we're like, was Spence and Chrissy there?
I did do that in Spanish also. I did it in both languages.
Yeah. I think it'd be nice to hear you speak Spanish. Is there
They
something?
went. They could tell you all about it. Yeah. Chrissy couldn't. She says I can't look at you the same way anymore for months.
Yeah. Well, at some point, I need something in Spanish. You've got the deep voice. I call you the Chilean prince for a reason, Brrr. So we'll hold off. Maybe I wanted to talk about dance a little bit. It's just another facet. So I can either go to the video. I'll tell you what. I'll go to the video, and then we'll come back to you, and you can tell us about dance and what role that plays in your life, if any.
Well, I love to dance at parties.
I've seen it.
Yeah, I'm definitely a dancer.
Love it.
Can't keep me off the floor. One of my favorite things about partying.
Is there anything you can't do, my son?
So let me see. Do you have a favorite kind of dance?
Not really. I don't think. Probably anything that has to do with like this like a spin. I think I've romanticized like that ballroom style.
I would say not ballet, but like lyrical, you know?
Ballet.
Interpretive.
My favorite dance is my own dance, so yeah.
How would you describe your own dance?
My dance, especially recently,
Yeah.
it's improvisation dance, and I interpret all the information around me. Like it could be the music, it could be the temperature, it could be the sound, it could be the light.
Do you have a favorite kind of dance?
I love, like, you know, hip hop dancers. I think that's cool. Like when they're dancing with the beat and, you know, twerking.
You like hip hop, right?
Hip hop.
I like bachata. I like a Dominican dance.
Also, swing dancing is really fun. I did swing dancing, and that was a good time.
You have a favorite kind of dance, either to do or watch?
Salsa.
I love the salsa dance. Salsa's very fun.
Salsa. The classic salsa.
I would have to say no, there's no favorite. I just like to dance. I appreciate music. Music is like one of the main things in life that I follow with.
I feel like I don't have a favorite kind of dance. I just like to do TikTok dances, so they're kind of all over the place.
Probably if you throw on Daft Punk, I'll be there and I'll just do whatever my heart wants.
My favorite's Bolly Fusion. So it's Bollywood, but you also get to fuse other styles as well.
How about the happy dance?
I knew you'd pull out a Steve Martin reference.
Ooh, that sounds
That
amazing.
could be.
Happy feet, he would say.
Yeah, happy feet.
My favorite kind of dance is the bump. You ever hear that? You know, when I was 13 and went to bar mitzvahs, the dance was the bump, and we would take our asses, men and women, boys and girls, and bump each other. I remember a woman coming up to me, she goes, "You're such a good dancer, and you have a cute tush." And we fade out on
Oh my God.
That's really not my favorite. You know what? I was just thinking back on this, and I remember as a 16-year-old going to Europe, taking a tour, and they took us to Vienna, and we had to learn like a Viennese. It was the waltz. So here I'm at 16 with a 22-year-old white woman from Virginia doing the waltz. I mean, it was fun, but the bump. I mean, when I look back now, because I've been filming bar, bat, benet, benot mitzvahs forever, like little kids sitting there and being like, yeah, bop, yeah, bop. We literally just smacking our tushes next to each other. It seems almost ridiculous. You remember that one, the bump at your bar mitzvah?
That is quite ridiculous, yes.
Yeah.
What with the bar mitzvah? I miss my bar mitzvah. My bar mitzvah. But yeah, definitely, yeah. It gets better as you get older, I would hope.
Yeah, me too. So, but tell me about dance. Among all your other accolades, like, well, you were just saying you love to dance at parties, but how else is it part of your life, your lifestyle, your art?
Yeah, I'm not a big, classic dancer or anything like that, but I do work with some dancers. I did a piece called Corazón del Bosque, Heart of the Forest, which is a really beautiful piece about ecology, about growing up with the magic of the forest. And it's just this amazing piece that I'm really proud of, and I'm still working on some levels, perfecting. And it tells a story about a girl who was left in the forest and grew up with these magical family and magical beings, and how she grows up in this way that she's reinserted into society and becomes an incredible medicine woman. It's just a beautiful, beautiful piece that I did here in the main theater with the very talented Jenny Salas, who I've worked with a few projects together and who's just been a big inspiration in my life, amazing woman. So here's to you, Jenny. And it just kind of stemmed from that relationship and created this beautiful piece of art, which included aerial dance and choreography. We used a bunch of children. We used projection mapping, in this big theater. It's just beautiful, very powerful, very moving piece, and it tells a lot about what I feel I want to project into the world about human transformation, about respect to ecology and the forest and everything like that. It's just really, really beautiful. So I think that was definitely that's a moment that I've worked with some amazing, talented people. Maya Galera was in that. It was also, a lot of these kind of talented Mexican people who a lot of times don't get as much as the recognition they should have, because they're really extremely, extremely talented, and maybe we don't have the same industry as we do have in the States. But really, really beautiful work. And so ecology is also a major thing to me. And that's why I've been doing a lot of gardens and like urban garden stuff lately, and fantasy urban gardens where everything that is planted is edible. And that's a beautiful thing. I've been working with also some amazing people. Nicolai Hoffman, who was online, who's amazing, and I love you as inspiration in my life also, who is very expert on plants and things like that. And so I'm incorporating a lot of that into my art also. So a lot of my art, it has to do with that kind of thing, the ecological. And, so yeah, that's part of it. I don't know if you have images of what I have now outside my house, which is, hundreds of flower bouquets hanging from my wall honoring Women's Day, which was, I guess, 2 days ago. And it's hanging currently. I use my house a lot of times as a canvas. So, yeah.
I feel like I did have a picture of that in the montage. There was, but I probably have more in my Lightroom bin, which we can get to. But I feel like this would be a good time because some of the, what are they called? The giant structures that you build as part of Laka Laka? The
Pyramid of the Dead. Yep.
Pyramid of
the Dead. The Pyramid of Life, the Pyramid of the Dead.
Okay,
it's about to cover. I guess you're right that we don't have enough time to cover everything, but yeah.
No, but we can cover a lot.
Yeah, definitely the flower thing hanging from my house it's very important for me because I think women are a huge influence and beautiful thing in my life. I feel very fortunate to be surrounded by amazing, hugely talented women. And last year we did a thing where this women's organization came to me and wanted to do something at my house. So we ended up hanging 303 shoes from my house from ribbons, honoring all the women who had passed away or suffered some kind of, femicide or violence here in the state of Guanajuato during that year. And it was very powerful. And the whole Women's March came actually outside my house. It was really amazing. And this year we couldn't do the whole march and everything, but I couldn't stand still. So I decided to hang all these bouquets of flowers and called it Naturaleza Muerta, which basically means still life in English, but the literal translation is dead nature. And it's just a reference to all those women who have suffered these injustices and all the women who are here and who are empowered and who are doing beautiful things. So hats off to all of you and more power to you. Love you all. Absolutely.
Well said. So I'm just going to tell my people.
It's an important aspect of what I do is honoring on that level.
Doing a rare Andrew full screen layout because it's my last show. Tomas, I had met a long time ago, and he's stayed here in New York a few times, but I was lucky to go to San Miguel, Mexico while he was there. So I'm going to just run through. We're going to play slideshow, and I'm taking, 60, 70 of my pictures. So what I want to do, I'm worried that our time delay might screw things up, but I'm going to try. Do I sound like I've caught up if you see my face and hear my words? Probably not. You still there?
I hear your words. I see some strange furniture in a hotel moving. Oh, there you go.
All right. Well, let's see if we're caught up. Yeah,
I hear you perfectly.
Okay, that's good. This is a rapid fire, as fast as you can go. And even if you don't know, what do you got? Fuck, I think we're back to delay. You there?
That's not my delay.
Just anything.
Yes. I see a beautiful Mexican girl with a dog. It's Claudia, the adorable friend who I adore, and we founded the Calaca Festival together and done so many beautiful things. And she's just amazing. Also a big inspiration in my life. That's her Day of the Dead, I guess, necklace. Beautiful. Here's me with Spencer. Love you, man. That was we did the shoot together when you came here for the festival. That's Andrew in his hair. Love it. Beautiful hair. There's the man. Yeah, I guess it's the reception for Spencer Tunic's photo shoot that we produced here. That was just amazing. The first version of the Spirits that we did in Senderos. An amazing place here in San Miguel.
Keep going. You got to keep up.
Somebody's beautiful house. I don't know whose house that is.
That's hers. That's where I stayed.
Oh yeah. Wonderful woman.
Yep.
That's a classic corner of San Miguel. That's at the Antigua Trattoria, the old pizza place, which is delicious. Classic San Miguel dog image. That's a strange sculpture that's sitting in front of the church, relationship with a church and slavery, which is terrible. Great picture of my man having fun, getting knocked in the head by a beautiful hand. Very classic Huichol art from the indigenous people that are from very close to here. Meeting about the festival, lots going on, lots of discussing, lots of ideas going back and forth, lots of stress. Maybe is incredible. Yeah, beautiful flowers. I think maybe that's the restaurant. Our amazing church. I don't know where this is, but
it's all right. Make it up.
Probably know where it is. Yeah, so there's a church. It's beautiful. It was made by this guy. It wasn't even an architect. He put all that together, stonemason, with a small team. Just incredible. I think Disney probably got inspired by that church.
I'm going faster. You're gonna have to keep up. I'm just gonna fire. I'm going.
Great artwork from Javier Marin. A typical traditional altar. I think that was in the library. I'm with you. Spencer Tunick taking photos of David Leonardo's beautiful murals. Great desserts, the market, beautiful place, wonderful fruits, amazing people. Mass usually for Day of the Crazies. That's very traditional here in San Miguel. Some artwork, artisan stuff. There it is, local artisan. Very happy to be taking photos of himself. There's Spencer's butt, folk art, a wonderful Mexican woman. Yeah, great little family making amazing coffee. There's more great Mexican women. Oh yeah, which one do you choose? This is the main square where people get together. That's my boy Ben, who I love, and his father, amazing people who helped us with so much stuff, and Chris, and yeah, just all these amazing people. David Lake, lovely, just beautiful, beautiful people. So amazing. It's a great community in San Miguel de Allende, just amazing creative beings. This was the ceremony that we did at the Pyramid of the Dead, which was my creation from that year, which was honoring all the people who had passed through this crowdfunding project, and everybody did different artwork and altars on the subject, honoring their loved ones. And it's hundreds of pieces that come together to create this sculpture, which has been really an amazing voyage to do. I ended up taking it to Burning Man, also from here, which was an insane voyage. Just incredible. I don't know how we managed to pull it off, but we did, and it was amazing. Thanks to people like Ben Brill and and
now
Ali,
this, when I see,
amazing.
When I think of you, I think of this. This is just an amazing piece. It was. It just got a lot of attention. I see Robin Williams. I don't want to spend long, but just give me a summary of what this is, what this means, how hard or easy was it to put together? Just something about this, because it's beautiful.
I think this came around the second year of the Laka Laka Festival. We've done a lot of installation work from the first year. The Laka Festival came around basically creating Day of the Dead to make it accessible for pretty much anybody with creative minds, and just that anybody can actually have a ceremony for their dead, and it shouldn't be something taboo. And we really kind of pushed that in the level. Of course, the Mexican tradition has been going on for years here, but we really kind of made it accessible to the international community. And a lot of it was participatory art, was the Mesoamerican traditions, Mexican traditions, and honoring our loved ones. And this, for me, this piece brought together those three elements into one piece, basically. And so that they're made with 10 frames. We're in San Miguel de Allende. They're amazing 10 workers to make incredible artwork with that. So it was also honoring the traditions of San Miguel de Allende, traditional artisans, who are just incredible. And also, using this crowdfunding platform where people could honor their loved ones and be part of this and be part of the piece and part of the process. And so even though I'm the creator, it was actually created by everybody coming together, and everybody sent in these individual frames that were decorated with altars. And it just grew from there. And just really, really a beautiful experience. It was quite the challenge, but very, very rewarding, very, very beautiful, very profound. And it's affected my life deeply. That was, I guess, the first one we did was 10 years ago. And it's been a big challenge, very difficult at times that people come to me with their loved ones who have passed, and I try to honor them as best as I can with this imagery and this artwork. And so it's really you connect the relationship with death changes in a very deep way, especially related to Western culture and how it's treated over there, and just to realize that part of life is passing on also, and there's not life without death. We're all part of the same kind of cycle. And I feel like if you've lived a life that's fulfilling and that you've tried to be your best, and you've been kind of, your heart has been pure as possible on that level, even though we've all messed up so many times. And there's so much more waiting afterwards. It's almost like a gift for having lived this life. And it's just a beautiful transition. And I think we should really understand it on that level. And it's just, for me, it's become a huge part of my life. And a lot of it had to do with my relationship with my father and how I dealt with his death, how it developed. I think the second year that I did the pyramid is when he passed. And so he always crowns it. My grandfather's on there a lot of times, but a lot of other people in their family. There's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds at this point.
After being,
it's just been an amazing voyage. A lot of responsibility, sometimes very difficult.
I hear my voice; it's still on a delay. But I remember going down and being that Laka Laka festival, which was amazing, and the Day of the Dead, and it was so much fun for me. And the pageantry, it was like Halloween. But I didn't really stop to think about what it was really all about. And I remember having deep conversations with Chrissy about that. And I have a little bit of a disconnect. I mean, maybe it's my simple atheist mentality. I mean, I'm sort of a spiritual guy, but I thought, well, what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to, we're thinking of our dead loved ones. I mean, I take from your family or people that have passed when they're around, loving and appreciating what they do. And then when things come back, my grandmother was a concert pianist. Now if I hear Bach or Rachmaninoff, I will think of her. If somebody says a whimsical poem, I'll think of my dad and say thank you. So there's just little bits of, that was my person, I appreciate it, thank you, and I'm thinking of you. And that's it. But it's kind of on a simple level. I don't go much deeper than that. I don't know, I shouldn't get into my beliefs, but I just feel like you die, you go in the ground, and that's it. My spirit will live on with 25,000 hours of videotape and photographs, so I'm really excited that I'll be leaving this legacy, this diary that I do almost every day on video. But as far as anything else, I don't know. But I don't want to get deep into that. I'm happy to hear your thoughts, but I want to try to go through some of these other pictures. But you can comment on that.
Yeah, understandable. There's a great mystery for sure. And my first relationship with death was when I was a small child. I was an infant, and on the ranch in Chile, and I was bitten by a brown recluse, and I was in the middle of the ranch, and I was bitten right at the bottom of my spine, right above my butt, and. By the time they figured out what was happening to me, and they were able to get me in this little Citroen, it's like a little Volkswagen Bug, but Citroen thing, and going to the ranch like this old car, and finally getting to the hospital. By the time I got there, and the doctor figured out, I was gone. And the doctor says to my mother, "There's nothing we can do for him." And so I have memories of that experience of being on the other side. It was really beautiful and amazing, and I felt like I was being received. I saw the classic white light thing, and there was these beings that they received me, and at some point, and then they're like, "But you're not supposed to be here. You're not ready yet. You have to go back," and they sent me back. And I don't want to go into huge detail about the story, but it's there, and it's always been part of my life in a big way. And I remember before being sent back, I was almost like this whisper in my ear, and it was like a programming, And so I know from that point on, when I came back, and if you ask my mother, of course, it was her prayers and her tears that brought me back, and she promised to give herself to God if that was the case, if I came back. And but I felt like from that point that I was a person who had something to do on this earth. I wasn't the type of person that was looking around trying to find my thing and not knowing what I'm doing here. You know, I've always had that kind of drive. It's part of what makes me an artist, you know, is that thing and that commitment to humanity, to the planet, to the universe, you know, and it's there, and it's something that drives me all the time. It's my biggest drive of all. Anything in life is that, is manifesting that, is looking for those spaces, is creating those kinds of spaces of reflection, of deep respect for life, of really just, you know, being better people and learning how to live life in a beautiful way. And one of my biggest missions on that level is creating love and emanating love as much as possible, because I think that is the creator of life in a big way. And, you know, working through fear and working through all these things that people, these blockages that people put up in relationship to that. And so that's my main activity, is along those lines, and everything I do is for that. And that comes from something that goes way back to, you know, my infancy and probably way back to my existence now. And so I've seen, it wasn't the first time I've had a relationship with death personally, even though it comes to me a lot, but I've had a lot of, in my own life, especially in my youth. And I understand that there's something beautiful on the other side, that the universe is huge, that we are part of everythingness, that nothing ceases to exist, everything transforms, you know. And so this death also, this concept of death is also an illusion coming from a very materialistic point of view, where we feel like, you know, our body is it, and our soul ceases. And that's not how my personal experience has been very close with that. That's not how that works at all. And
well, I think
we're just energy that's always transforming, that's always connected. We're all interconnected. Everything we do, everything we think and manifest is in the universe at all times. You know? So
I think one of the lessons from all this is we should all.
I don't know if I'm rambling, but
yeah, a little bit. That's okay. No, it's very interesting. I was going to say one of the lessons from all this is that we should all be bitten by a snake in our youth, and this will make us better people. Just saying. No, but that was really nice. That was really nice. On that, yeah, we're still on a.
Yeah, that's part of it. I think it is part of it, and I think a lot of our. Yeah, it's just, you know, I could go on forever, of course, on these subjects, but a lot of times we tend to see ourselves as victims of our circumstance in our life, and we tend to feel as that we are traumatized people because we've had things happen to us in our lifetime, and everybody has had something happen to them, you know, and it just really depends on how you take that. In Spanish, they say, si no te mata, te hace más fuerte. So if it doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger. You know, and these things that we a lot of times we take as problems, as hardships, as traumas, are opportunities for us to understand better and to become stronger and more loving beings and have more compassion, and take charge of that as an opportunity. Yeah.
I think I take a lot of.
It's an opportunity to be better, to go to walk our path, to go further down our path.
A lot of the things you just said ring true. I think of my own life. I mean, it's a bit of a cliche. You only live once, blah, blah, blah. But anytime I have the chance to do something, I'm in a strange place. Or one year I served on 2 juries and was the juror in different cities. I was like, what the fuck? I don't know. I just want to have fun. I want to go and rock and roll punk karaoke and sing a Clash song. I know I'm not going to be very good and everyone else is better, but I just want to have fun. And yeah, because I put myself out there with a lot of different things, there's always, I don't want to say defeat, but things going wrong and obstacles. And if you just have the attitude, it's like, well, that's just fucking part of it. Let me try to conquer it. And I don't know, I've done books that were difficult and TV shows and all kinds of stuff. But yeah, like you said, your attitude. And I take a lot of it as just whatever I do, let's just have fun. Who cares? If it's bad, there's going to be something funny. As a comedian, there's always something funny about all of this. So if I make fun of you people out there in the land, if I do impressions, if I do a Chinese or an Orthodox, please don't take it personally. I'm just trying to have fun and entertain myself. Hopefully not at your expense. Anyway, all right, I'm going to go to one last thing. We're on such a beautiful, we're 10:15, so I'm only going to go a few more minutes, but I think this last question, it's all lined up so well.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, very nice. Yeah.
So let's see. How do we make the world a better place? It's perfect timing. Let's see if I can get to it.
Nice. Good segue there, brother.
Oh, snap. Oh, time out. I forgot to click the one thing. You were all watching that without volume, right? Fucking A. All right, thank you, Chrissy, for telling me that. Ben, the most important fucking thing in the thing. All right, it's all right. Well, now you get to hear.
Are you serious? That's crazy.
No. It's coming back. I just forgot to click something.
Funny. The first time I actually saw any of the footage, I didn't hear anything.
Yeah. All right, hold on a second. Remove. Stop screen. It's essential. Share. I blame this on streamer. God, I always forget it once. All right. It's worth the wait, my friends. It is fucking worth the wait. Oh. By the way, check. If you're just joining the broadcast, it's Andrew with Tomas, show number 30. Before we take a break, I want to say thanks to each and every one of you for dropping by, for being in my movie, as the Grateful Dead once said. And now let's see how we make the world a better place.
How do we make the world a better place? For my last question for my last show.
Meditate. Just smiling. I really like smiling.
Smiling?
I think smiling at people makes my day if I see someone smile, and makes me want to smile more at someone else.
Be kind, be nice, spread positivity.
Just be nice to people, wash your hands.
Empathy. I would say empathy.
Understanding each other, communication first.
I would say acceptance.
But we just have to start minding our own business and let people live and be kind to each other. Yeah, respect everyone's decisions.
Spread love, meditate.
Don't discriminate based on caste, creed, religion, sexuality, political views, religion, anything, and just have a drink, take a shot, dance it off. That's how you make a world a better place.
We make the world a better place.
Well, we need to start getting rid of men. No!
I agree with that.
True.
How do we make the world a better place?
To me, just sharing love through my art.
What?
Just not forgetting beauty with humanity.
However, we can take care of artists, probably. That's how you make the world better. Also, making art more accessible. I think that it's kind of it was a weird taboo, not anymore.
More access, equal opportunity.
We try harder, or we work harder, or we work smarter.
Typically when people ask me questions like this, I say, oh, it's just my kindness and generosity and ethics. I make people laugh. I help them that's not really making the world a better place. So I think I'd like to invest in windmills, other environmentally friendly technology, and just maybe I'll travel the world, make people laugh, and get them naked. I'm very good at all these things. And that is, woo! Yeah!
All right.
Oh, show number 30 on the horn. Woo!
Nice. Yeah, baby. Hell yeah. Love it. More power to you, baby. Very nice.
It was nice.
Very
I
nice.
love that guy with the long hair. We had like a 10-minute conversation. At the end of each question, he would throw it back to me. He was like, what is your favorite kind of dance? How are you making the world a better place? What kind of drugs are you taking? It was fun. If people could see, you know, it's a shame. I had a second cameraman once who could film me from afar, and then I could cut back and forth, you know, if I had the money. But it's just like when you see the dance, talk about dances, the interaction between me and the people, you're only seeing, I mean, you're seeing most of it, but I feel like there's an extra little notch if I could have had a second camera. That was a good question to kind of end up on, right? How do we make the world a better place? You know, if my sister was watching, the pragmatist in her, she'd be like, less people.
That is a great closing one. I'm glad we did that.
Yeah. Less people, less traffic. People get very spiritual. Be nice to one another. Love. Yeah, we can throw out these terms like politicians saying, we need to talk about this more. Well, all right. Is that really? I mean, I'm not trying to be a downer because all those things were beautifully said, but I don't know. Feel like something more concrete. You are a man of action, and you're all the things that you're building and doing and creating, and art and the environment mixed. You're a man of action. How was that?
Thank you, brother. Yeah, I'm definitely with your sister on that level also. One thing shouldn't take away from the other. I think they go hand in hand. So definitely figure out what you can do on a practical level and apply it in every way possible, 100%. And not just give off good vibes and smiles or whatever, which is a great start, but there's a lot. There's a lot more we can do. And yeah, there's plenty you can do. It doesn't mean that you have to be overwhelmed either by it. I have a friend who was an important senator for many years, and I asked him about, you know, because you see all this mass destruction, all these things going on around the planet. Like, where do I start? And he just says, you know, if you just do one thing, that's a great starting point. So, you know, if you start by recycling or helping, you know, once a week helping children or whatever, you know, or what I manifested my art, my activities. And so it grows. You conquer one thing and it grows into the other. So it doesn't have to be overwhelming, but definitely don't just be like, oh, I just smile a lot, you know? Yeah, which is beautiful. And I don't want to take away from that. I think it was very empowering also. It's a key to do that as much as possible. So
I don't want to go much more on this, but do you feel confident about the youth? Do you feel confident? Like I always thought in elementary school, they should teach a class on like, whatever it is, life, fixing buildings, recycling, like how are we making sure you can read and write and do your math and science, but like a class on making our world better, especially maybe in regards to the environment. You feel confident about our kids?
Yeah, I think that's a whole conversation in of itself. I think the system and part of what we've been going through this whole pandemic and everything else, and what's just looking around us and on the planet, that many of us are becoming more and more aware that we need to change a paradigm, that we need to look at the world from a different point of view, and that should be reflected, and probably, hopefully, will be reflected in time, in our daily life and our education. I think education is, in general, a lot of times has not been created to create thinking people and conscious people. Has been created to have people who are good sheep, who are good followers, who are good workers. And so a lot of the information that's available, I think it's a little distorted. I think there's a lot of that has to do with a deep cultural thing that needs to be part of what we're feeding our children culturally, intellectually, literally, you know, heart-wise and all these things. Children and youth are always in potential, and they tend to be idealists, and they're people who take action because they go directly with what they feel and they manifest it. There's no filter. And so the youth in itself is always a potential. The youth can do anything, and they're always going to think a little bit further than because they're in that mind, with the place where the mind is still so elastic and so questioning, and to feed the question, and to actually redesign what we're feeding them, and what kind of information, what kind of knowledge, and hopefully what kind of wisdom we're giving to them needs to change dramatically. And our behavior in general as society needs a huge shift, and I think that's going to happen one way or the other, whether we like it or not, because that's just how things work, and that's how the planet works. And if you're just not on, you're on it, and then you're off, and you're messing it up, And so that's a lot of what I'm working for. Also, it's just we need to have this shift, and we need to have this deeper philosophical conversation as society to where we want to go and where we're taking this. And I don't think a system that worked on some levels is ceasing to work, and it just needs to be rethought. And I think for that, a lot of what we can do is go to a lot of these cultures that were kind of suppressed in a way. Look for the knowledge in these cultures. Look to our youth. Look to our elders also, who carry a lot of knowledge. And I think a lot of people tend to, especially in Western culture, kind of put their elders in a closet, you know what I mean, and not coexist with them. And they've been around longer than us, so they've got a lot to say about it. And yeah, just awaken that memory, and also smile and live in empathy and compassion, and understand that people are on different paths of this long path and different levels of this path, and not judge someone for what level they're on. Where I think that we humans are terrible judges. We should try not to judge anything as much as possible. And I think there's the universe is working on a much higher level that we don't quite understand. And so we would have to really have a sense of good judgment, we would have to have the objectivity to be able to look at the universe as a whole, which we don't. We're just humans here. And so I think compassion is a big one. Non-judgment as much as possible, and try to find solutions to things instead of be pointing fingers to be victims of our circumstance. So,
woo! Jeez.
There's a lot to do. That's just the beginning of the conversation, but I'm glad we're having it.
That's the beginning. Oh my God. Well, I look forward to the book and the essay. Well, listen, before we go, Astra asks if you know Leah Alonso. Duh. Well, of course. I'm surprised you haven't met my friend Astra yet, because she knows all the same people that we do. I know you're 8 seconds behind, so
I love Leah Alonso. I love her to death.
Yeah, keep going.
Oh, that's awesome.
Leah was a guest on an earlier show. Yeah,
I actually am editing. I directed and I'm editing a video as we speak of Leah Alonso.
Oh wow, nice. Former
I'm
cowgirl.
I'm editing her video now, which I directed. So
Great.
That's how much I know Leah Alonso. I love Leah Alonso. Amazing.
Let me just say thanks.
Hopefully the video will be out in the next few months. Really excited about it. It's going to be amazing.
I want to deeply thank everybody that has really helped in this process. Chris Torella at the beginning, Astra and Ron and Austin, who were just like constant feedback when I was trying to come up with the name and the format and different things. Josh and Steven, just, I feel like it's an Academy Award speech. And all those people, my agent, my manager, all the people that I've, all the guests that I've had who have been absolutely wonderful people, giving me their time, their energy, and their smarts. So... And the fans out there that have been watching and commenting. So I'm not going to... Oh, Leah is there. She says, I love you all. She's here. Dee Dee Champagne and Carol. And I'm not going to go through every Spence and Chrissy. So thank you so much, Tomas. Yeah, love you too. You're an awesome human being, and you're making the planet a better place. And that's a good thing. So I will be back in one shape or form or another. I don't know when. Could be weeks, could be months.
You, my man. I really... appreciate your existence. I appreciate this work that you're doing.
Thanks. All right, I'm hitting the button and we're out. I will see y'all soon.
Yeah, well, you can count on me for anything you need, brother. I love you and thank you so much. And
I appreciate it.
Yeah, well done. You're the man, brother.
Woo!
Love you. Great.
yourself to go again. Cold water in your face is gonna bring you back to this awful place. Knuckle merchants and the bankers too, who must get up and learn those rules. Riverman and crazy chief, one says sun and one says sleep. Now the AM, the FM, the PM too, turning out that boogaloo. It gets you up and it gets you out, but how long can you keep it up? I said, give me Honda, give me Sony. It's so cheap and it's so phony. Hong Kong dollar, Indian cents, English pounds and the Benjamins. I said, New York! But don't stop and give it all you got. Say New York! Come on and get up. Don't stop and give it all you got. Say New York! Come on and get up. Don't stop and give it all you got. Say New York! Get up. You just don't stop and give it all you got. Looking for a rise to better my station. Take my baby to sophistication. See the ads? Well, isn't it nice? Better work hard cause I know the price. Now never mind that, it's time for the bus. And you'll get on cause you're one of us. The clocks go slow in the place of work. The minutes drag and the hours jerk.